We know holidays can be stressful, especially as we get older. We still think we can do it all, but as we age, we need to adapt so we don't get overstressed.
This is between Thanksgiving and Christmas for us. Are you stressed?
A little bit.
Yeah, me too.
A little bit stressed.
But we're working on this ourselves as a couple, and we're making changes and really embracing new traditions because we want to transform these celebrations, whether it's this or big birthday parties or whatever, to make it more quiet, serene, and joy-filled experience instead of thinking about all the work we have to do, right?
Yeah, I mean, if we don't adapt and implement some changes, we can turn festive times into exhausting events. So it's crucial that we act now.
Right. So, as we go into this season of family gatherings, Jody and I, as well as you, what we want to do is reflect on the traditions that we have in place now and say maybe there's new ways to make these events a little more enjoyable and less stressful.
You know, we really do need to remember the essence of the holiday, and it's about the joy and the connections and the memories we're making for everyone we spend time with.
Now, if you're new here, I'm Mark, and this is my wife, Jody.
We don't focus on the financial aspects of retirement, but rather lifestyle, health, relationships, and more.
So do us a favor, hit the subscribe button, but also do us a huge favor, and if you've got friends in this stage of life as well in retirement, share this with them for people that you care about so that we can be involved in their retirement journey too.
Now, you might be feeling overwhelmed and don't see any way through it into a calmer and more loving way to approach the holidays.
But today we're going to give you some easy changes you can make, the same changes we're making to feel more in control, more at peace, and less stressed.
We actually tried this during Thanksgiving, where we made it less about the food and us preparing all the food and serving everyone, and made it more about the experience and letting the kids all pitch in and bring their favorite thing. And I think we tried that this year.
Well, not only did we try it, that was our intention, but you were really clear with all of our 5 kids that showed up and their partners. You said ahead of time, we are making this Thanksgiving less about the food and more about having fun. So we played games at night. The food for me growing up was always the most important thing. The turkey, the stuffing, the mashed potatoes, the gravy. That's all important. But we would obsess over it. Yeah. And even when you and I first got married, I obsessed over it. I love to cook.
Right.
But now it just gets to be so much stress around food that honestly, it's gone within an hour.
Well, not even an hour. I mean, you figure you spend all day cooking and getting set up and, appetizers and then put those away and doing dishes. And then by the time we sit down for the meal, I think it might be even like 20 minutes.
And I think what's happening... What?
Well, I was just going to... So I think that with intention at this stage of the game, making it more about the people and less about the food makes sense to me.
I think what's happening, we have 6 kids and we like to host. We typically are the place where people come and we want to make it nice, but we're also getting older. And it is a little bit harder to be that couple that does everything. So like you said, the kids really did help out. But gosh, I remember when I was a kid, and even when I first got married the first time, Thanksgiving was easy because we went to my parents' house.
Yeah.
Right? Remember that? You went to your mom's house. And you kind of showed up, you brought a bottle of wine, you helped do the dishes. When you're hosting, there's no easy way out. You are in charge of everything. So you are the orchestrator, the worker, the planner, the shopper, the chef. So we're trying to find a balance now to make it easier on ourselves, yet still make it fun.
Yep.
So, meditation guide below. There's a link to our meditation guide. And I put that in here today. It's free because I believe strongly in meditating. And that will also help you get through this stressful time of holidays. If you're not meditating yet, download it and give it a shot.
Okay, so let's get into how we're going to do this. How are we going to make holidays less stressful? The first thing I would say is simplify your celebrations. Plan for smaller gatherings maybe. Large parties can be a bit overwhelming. Smaller get-togethers may seem more manageable.
So half the kids instead of all 6?
No, but we had
You don't have to have cousins and
right,
yeah.
right. Maybe start to plan more small events as opposed to one big large event.
And maybe this doesn't work for you. We
Right.
have friends that do a huge Christmas Eve with 50 people and a huge Christmas Day with 50. They like it. They get help. They have it organized. But if there's stress now in your holidays, think of these as options to maybe reduce your stress.
Right.
So maybe having the food pre-made.
Yeah, we had neighbors that did that.
They did.
They had a pre-made Thanksgiving that they picked up, and they enjoyed their time with their kids. The other idea would be to have a potluck meal, have everybody
Yeah.
bring something, right? Now, the challenge there for me is always you can't just say, okay, everybody brings something. You have to kind of categorize
Right.
it. You don't want like 9 chocolate cakes
Right.
and no side dishes.
Maybe cut down on all the decorations you
Mm.
bring out. I mean, I didn't decorate the outside that much this year as I normally do because it's time, it's effort, it creates a little bit of stress. We've done really well with gift exchanges. We've changed that up a little
We
bit.
have. I mean, when you have 6 kids, everybody trying to buy for everybody else, it gets a little bit crazy. So we've done the white elephant
Yeah,
or
it's
the
fun.
the different gift games that come along, and that makes it really fun.
Yeah, it's not about the gift as much it is about seeing what happens
Yeah.
when there's a gift and people try to steal it. So make it more fun.
Right.
Invitations, again, the old school would be to handwrite all the envelopes. We do it by text or digital invitation. So simplifying it,
Yeah.
just delegate tasks. That's big for us.
It
Our
is
kids
big.
are 25 to 39. We're hoping soon that we start.
That's one of them invites us there.
Yeah, well, that's really number
Yeah.
2, which is embracing new traditions, and that would be us going to the kids' house.
Right.
That's something we're really
Absolutely.
looking forward to.
So, embracing new traditions like, things like a holiday movie night. Maybe it's a cozy night that you can do a holiday movie and a pizza and a salad. Something easy but memorable for everybody. Now, at our house, I don't know if it's at your house, but getting everyone to agree on a holiday movie gets a little bit challenging.
Well, again, and the idea of
You guys like Bad Santa. The girls like something like
Right.
the Noel Diaries.
Right.
So we have to...
But what we changed up a bit again, without focusing on the food, we're focusing on the fun. So
Right.
actually going for a nature walk,
Yeah.
playing board games and puzzles.
I can't believe you're saying that since you're always the resistor of board games.
I'm a card game guy because of our neighbors across the street.
Yeah, but you're usually the resistor.
I am. Used to be.
Yeah.
You know what I would love for us to do one year is to do some charity work. To
Oh, yeah.
really, like on Thanksgiving, to have the whole family go to
Like a soup kitchen.
a soup
or-
kitchen
yeah.
and serve meals. And you could do that the day before and still have your meal, but that would be fun to make that a new holiday tradition.
Okay, so the third thing would be prioritizing health and wellness through the holidays. Nothing feels worse than coming out the other end of the holidays feeling really crappy about the way you ate or the lack of exercise. So the first thing would be to really look at your meal options, and decide, can we make any of these healthier, or do we need to kind of get rid of them at this stage of the
Well,
game?
healthier could mean when you do the mashed potatoes, less butter, or we don't baste the turkey with butter anymore. We use olive oil. We've got dietary restrictions with the kids,
Right.
so we have to think about flour, gluten,
Dairy,
dairy,
egg.
egg.
Yeah, we have kids with.
So
a
we
whole
now
bunch of-
cook healthier,
Yeah.
and no one minds.
Well, in that same vein, you want to make sure that you're still moving your body through the holidays, that you're staying hydrated,
Right.
you're limiting maybe the alcohol consumption, so it's not just, 2 or 3 bottles of wine every night for everybody, and that you are able in your own home to take mental health breaks, right?
yeah.
Where you say like, I need to walk to the beach and back, or I need to do something for myself.
Yeah, and I think that's important. There's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
What the worst thing is to kind of have a breakdown in front of everybody.
Yeah.
But if you're super stressed, take a break. Like
Yeah.
Jody said, go outside, go for a walk
Take a
by
deep
yourself.
breath, yeah.
Take a deep breath. Meditate for 10 minutes. Go in the bedroom and meditate. I'm
Right.
such a huge meditator. It's okay to do that. The other thing to do to really reduce stress, and I would say we're really good at this, is planning and organizing, because we do early preparation. We do the menu 2 weeks ahead. We do invites. We know who's going to come. It's better than like shopping. We get all that done Monday or Tuesday, and I'm up early, so I was on Tuesday at the grocery store when they open the door at 7.
Right.
So I think that's really important. Budgeting, you want to set a budget so you're not just all of a sudden at the end realizing you're spending a lot of money and you look and see that you did.
Right.
So,
and we're pretty good at checklists, to keep track of tasks and what needs to get done ahead of time. I've found this great place. I'm not a baker. I know a lot of people love to bake and that's their thing. It's not my thing. So I found a great resource for online desserts.
Yeah.
Gold Belly, it's called.
We should put the link below.
And they pull desserts from all over the U.S. So if you have, for example, my girls love a good Texas pecan pie. And I'm able to get it right from Dallas.
It costs a little more.
It does.
But sometimes it's worth it.
Yeah.
Again, we said don't focus on food, but the desserts, they kind of like that.
Yeah, they do.
Or my favorite chocolate cake, where does that come from?
Right.
Don't even know.
Daisies.
Daisies.
It actually comes from Daisies.
Where's Daisies?
Yeah. Daisies is in Chicago.
Yeah, how about that?
Yeah.
We schedule things on our calendar. We have backup plans. We have clear communication. And I think that's really the fifth one is really communicating.
Yep.
Outwardly to all the kids or the guests as to what's happening.
Yeah, we've actually hosted Zoom meetings with the kids before they came to kind of give them an outline of what the agenda will be, so they know whether they bring, golf clothes or golf clubs or, am I bringing bathing suits? Are we going to a fancy restaurant? Are we eating at home? But it's easier to communicate ahead of time as opposed to people show up and not be prepared.
Yeah. And listening to the concerns the kids have or them listening to us or you and I listening to each other.
Yeah.
I mean, this is stress on a relationship as well. So really making sure Jody and I are resolving any conflicts. We've got really clear communication. We're sharing responsibilities and we're setting boundaries for each other is helpful.
And along with that comes maybe the sixth thing, which is really embrace flexibility and adaptability. Be open to some change and to modify some things. For example, we set up a big table out on the lanai. If it starts to pour rain, we're kind of doomed. We have to have an alternative and be flexible.
Right.
So
and also embrace the unexpected. Don't get concerned about something that happens. Someone drops a turkey, or I keep talking about Thanksgiving, but not bad stuff, but unexpected situations come up. You need to approach them with a positive attitude again, or you're going to stress out.
And let go of some of that control, right? Just kind of
big.
Let go of the control of it and kind of let it all play out.
And it's okay to scale things back a little bit. And the other thing is, be okay asking for help.
Yeah.
Even if the person's not going to do
that.
it exactly the way you are, ask for help. It really does help asking for help.
And then the last thing would be take time for yourself. Self-care activities, alone time. Keep your hobbies if you typically, play pickleball or golf or go for a walk with a neighbor or something. Keep that in your routine as you work through the holidays because it does ground you. Those routines do ground you.
The other thing is in the way of self-care is as you're going through these events, really spend a little bit of time self-reflecting on the relationships that you have with everyone who's there. Get to know them better. Ask them some questions. Spend some time. Leave the room and meditate if you have to. But look at this as a positive way to reconnect with your kids, your family, and your friends. And lastly, if you're overwhelmed and this really is just too much for you to handle on a regular basis, get professional support. It's okay. It's okay.
These tips will help you find a new way to still be able to entertain and host and find some peace during the holidays.
Now, we want you to believe that these changes will help. So take some baby steps. We're committed to making the changes ourselves. We want you to do the same thing so that you can enjoy this family time together. Now, if you love this video, we hope you did, this next one, reducing retirement stress through meditation. You all know if you've been watching these videos, I'm a big fan of meditation. But I share in that video the meltdown that I had when Jody and I were on her 50th birthday vacation. And we talk all about the benefits of meditating. So watch this one next.